And welcome to this live edition of Dodgers Territory on this Monday afternoon. We trust that you all had a good weekend, hopefully. We are your hosts. That is Clint Pasillas. I am Alanna Rizzo. Make sure you like us, rate us 5 stars, subscribe. We're over 2,000 subs on YouTube. We would love to double that soon. So thanks for being with us. Let's get right into the big ticket, Clint.
Let's do it.
My friend, I know we talk about this a lot, but it seems like our whole show should be called Blue Balls Territory the entire time because we have so many guys on the IL. Tyler Glasnow is the latest to hit the shelf because of some discomfort, elbow tendonitis, if you will. When you hear elbow tendonitis for the guy that's been the most consistent starter all year, does the hair on the back of your neck stand up?
It definitely gives you some concern. It gave the Dodgers a whole lot of concern. It seems like there was a fair amount of difference of opinion when it comes to this elbow injury. But I think what makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up is knowing it's Glasnow, the guy with this history of elbow injuries. And I'm pretty sure that's why the Dodgers say, you could say you feel good all you want, but we're putting you on the injured list right now because we don't care about right now. We care about October. Everything for this team is in the month of October. But did you see some of these quotes, particularly from Tyler Glasnow? It seems like I say he didn't want to go on the IL. He really, really did not want to go on the IL. One of them I have here. The decision was made. He said he feels fine. He said he thinks the organization, their main priority is the postseason. So I guess I'm just on the IL now. Very much did not want to go on the injured list. What do you
Yeah,
make
it
of
seems like there's some use of pronouns that are interesting. They and them, if you will,
yeah.
Clint Pasillas, because it seems like Tyler Glasnow thought perhaps maybe, and again, I haven't spoken to him. I'm just kind of speculating here, but perhaps he wanted just to push a start a day or two, maybe give it a little bit more rest. But the Dodgers being cautious with him, obviously, as you mentioned, a bit of history as far as injury concern is concerned. But let's pull up the tweet again from Mike DiGiovanna. And DG is saying this, that, Tyler Glasnow, when asked to be if on the IL or whatever have you, or what have you, I can't even talk today. You can tell I was off for the last 3 days. By shutting down right-handed pitcher Tyler Glasnow with elbow tendonitis, now the Dodgers believe he will be full go for the stretch run. That when he comes back, I think the governor is off and we can use him the way he's supposed to be used as a major league ace. But he's saying, you know what, I think I can pitch. They're saying, no, you're going on the IL. Sometimes, though, I can appreciate this because sometimes you do have to protect the player from himself.
Yeah, and that's fair. And again, he's somebody who has a long history of some elbow issues, went years without getting the proper diagnosis on his UCL in the past. So I can understand them really treating this as cautious as possible and knowing that he's going to be in Dodger Blue for 4 seasons beyond this year. So I'm okay with the Dodgers making this decision for him at this point. I don't think if it was September, I don't think they would have gone this route. Adding to more of the Glasnow quotes, he says, I trust all the medical staff and coaches and the front office. And if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do. So this is the situation we have, and all of a sudden we have a renewed importance and added importance for our guy, Clayton Edward Kershaw, who shoved yesterday in St. Louis. What'd you like about Kershaw there? 6 scoreless innings out of CK22.
Well, I can tell you that if he wasn't already important, his importance level just went up, as you mentioned. I mean, Kershaw's looked really good in his last 3 starts. He's looked tremendous in the month of August, and it's almost like he's old reliable, if you will. Again, when we talked about Kershaw coming back and making his debut for the season, we didn't need Kershaw to be an ace, right? We didn't need him to be an ace or even the second guy in the Dodgers starting rotation. I mean, if you can get, 5, 6 solid innings for the back end of your rotation, and that being said, if Glasnow's healthy, Yamamoto comes back and he's healthy, although you don't know what the heck he's going to get. I mean, we gave him $325 million. We've seen him pitch for a month. You don't know exactly how that's going to play out. You hope that he's going to be healthy enough. I know he's throwing long toss. I know he's doing all those things, but until it's in a game, you don't know how he's going to look. Kershaw is the most durable guy as far as a guy that I believe in. I understand he was out for the majority of the season so far, but this was the first time the man has had surgery, and he's been in the big leagues for 17 seasons. I mean, if Kershaw is anything, it's durable. So the fact that he's looked that good, it's kind of getting back to that bread and butter, the slider, that beautiful curve that he's doing. The fastball still there. He's not going to have the velo, but I don't need him to do that. I'm pleased with what I've gotten, or what I've seen from Kershaw so far, particularly in his last 3 starts.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal in the month of August. We'll call it vintage Kershaw right there. It's funny when they signed him, and I think I forgot who we had a guest on here on Dodger territory a couple weeks ago who said, he went from somebody who was, I wouldn't call him an afterthought signing in the offseason, but at the time they had all of this talent kind of laying around, plus guys in the minor leagues. So then when they re-signed him, it's like, where is this guy going to fit into the equation? You always find a way to fit Clayton Kershaw into the equation, but now we're at this point where he was pitching on a busted shoulder, and who knows for how long. So we're seeing the best version of Clayton at the best possible time of the season, and we've seen this in the past as well. He was really good for this team in October in 2020, where he didn't have to throw as many innings. So if you're looking forward, you're trying to move forward and project forward, that's awesome. One of the things Clayton did say after his start, because he was asked about the shoulder and all of that, not having pain in that shoulder. He said, I don't even remember what it feels like to not have a shoulder hurting before. So it's nice. It's a good feeling. And we saw what he did last year outside of that NLDS Game 1 start where everything just immediately went bad. He still pitched as well as he did in the second half with a shoulder falling off. So you feel good. This isn't 2014 Kershaw. This isn't Grandpa's Kershaw anymore. This is the current Kershaw we have, and he's still a very, very good version, and somebody maybe we're not as worried about, if he's getting a Game 2, Game 3, Game 4 start. What do you think about that?
I'm never worried about Kershaw. I never have been. I mean, the guy is just as solid as they come. I understand everybody wants him to go out there and throw complete game shutouts every time out because that's what they were used to when he, became the Dodgers ace. But that's just not reality anymore. That's not realistic to think he can do that. I mean, very rarely are we throwing, complete games. But Kershaw has shoved in his last 3 outings, and unfortunately, they're going to really need him to continue to do that because I don't know what you're going to get from the Yamamotos of the world and the Jack Flahertys of the world, and who knows, what it's going to be like when Tyler Glasnow comes back. I'll maintain that we don't have enough starting pitching. I will also maintain that we haven't had a season so far where the Dodgers have been fully healthy, and it's August 19th. We're over 100 games, and we have yet to see a completely healthy team. And add Freddie Freeman to that list, obviously taking a ground ball off the finger. He's day-to-day. Still more imaging, I believe, is going to occur, but he's not expected to he's unlikely to play today against the Seattle Mariners as that series starts today. Missed Sunday's game after leaving Saturday in St. Louis due to that jammed right middle finger. You can see the play there. Expected to undergo a CT scan today. I would imagine that's already happened in Los Angeles. I know that they got in late from Seattle last night. I haven't heard any updates yet as to whether that further imaging has been done, but I would not be surprised if Freeman's taking another day off, especially since Max Muncy and Tommy Edman are coming back, which we'll talk about as we get into behind the scenes here in just a second. But, I mean, this is a team, Clint, that could ill afford to lose all-star Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, we've seen a version of this team playing without Freddie Freeman. It's not a very good version of the team. They squeaked out a win in that getaway day in St. Louis yesterday, but they're saying there's a chance he could go on the IL for this. If he does, it should be the minimum. It might miss only technically 7 games with the retroactive, placement on the IL plus a couple of days off coming up for the team. So I'm in the camp of let him take some time, get right, not develop bad habits. If he's trying to swing with a bad finger, and that's his lead hand, that's his bottom hand, that if he's feeling, the finger swollen, bad habits, because he had those late in the season last year that carried over into the postseason. And he, in his own word, in my words, I'll give it, he was booty. He was very, very bad in October because his swing was rough. He was also chasing 50 doubles and all of that. So give him his time. I'm okay with him letting it get right. And if Muncy comes back, plays a little first base, not mad at that either. I'd rather see him play some third, let Kike stay at 1 or whatever it may be. But you got some options, and all of a sudden you feel good about this team having more options when you lose somebody. When you somebody the caliber of Freddie Freeman. And getting Muncy back, that's a pretty good addition to the team. But we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I remember a day when baseball was like you had like a really good first baseman, you had a really good third baseman. Remember the Dodger days of that infield that played so many consecutive days together. The Davey Lopes of the world and Ron Says and the Steve Garveys and all those guys, Russell. And now it's like we have 1,000 utility players and not like a solid third baseman. The point is Max Muncy also took a bunch of grounders at first base over the course of the weekend in Oklahoma City before being activated. And by the way, nothing's been made official yet. As far as I know, as we sit here right now at 12:11 p.m. Pacific, there have not been official roster moves as far as what's going to happen to Freddie Freeman, if Max Muncy is going to be, activated off the IL, if Tommy Edman is going to be added to the roster as well. So we'll keep you posted as we hear here on Dodgers territory. And by the way, get your comments in on this chat. We'd love to hear from you. Clint's really good about following everybody on the chat on YouTube. So join us, get in the conversation. Also want to say, what's up, Viore? I don't know if you noticed, but I love this. I love their clothing and I legitimately live in it. So Viore has been an awesome sponsor of Dodgers territory. We appreciate them so very much. Enjoy 20% off of your first purchase. Why not? Because it's phenomenal. It's so comfy. And I know how much you love to work out. So if you want to come work out with me, put some Viore on. It's an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet. Viore.com/foul. That's VUORI.com/foul. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on anything in the U.S. over $75 and free return. Go to Viore.com/foul and discover the versatility of Viore clothing. I'm not kidding, man. Obviously, we need sponsorships to keep the lights on and keep our shows running. And we appreciate every single sponsor that wants to be on the, Foul Territory platform, including here on Dodgers territory. But when I found out we were Viore, sponsored by Viore, I was like, oh, hell yes. I love this. I love this company.
I remember you bringing that up. I think you were talking to Bronny about it a little bit. And I'm like, how come I'm left out on this? I want to feel like I'm ready to work out. Clearly, your boy needs to be ready to work out a little bit more. So I'll have to talk to the big boss man, see if they could send me a care package or whatever. I did get, I think I showed it on the show, I did get a free clean ball from our guy, Connor McGinnis, had on a couple shows ago. So I don't want to ask for too much. I'm happy to be here, I guess, or something. But
yeah, selfless plug for Clean Fuego. Yeah. We appreciate you, Connor McGinnis, and your brother and the company of doing that. But Viore, we love you. Thank you so much for being a part of Dodgers territory. All right, let's get into behind the seams. And we have some reinforcements coming, if you will. By the name of Maxwell Muncy, and not the Max Muncy that still plays for the Oakland Athletics, who has the same exact name and the same exact birth date, which is just freaking weird. But Max Muncy, former All-Star, great third baseman, a guy that brings, I wouldn't say, Clint, that he's the MVP of the team, because I believe that to be Teoscar Hernandez. But I believe Max Muncy to be the X factor that this team needs. And the lineup was a hot mess in terms of order without him.
Yeah, this is somebody who brings a professional at bat to that lineup, professional bat to the lineup, and he's a pro's pro. He's got pop. He can take a walk when he needs to. The average this year wasn't pretty, but he was trending positively, if I remember correctly. It's been so long since he's been away with this, magical back crack fixed oblique issue, but still getting Muncy back, just a game changer in this lineup, because you have somebody that could either slot in front of Teoscar Hernandez, slot behind Teoscar Hernandez, just give more length, more protection to the top of that lineup for when everybody is back and healthy. Freddie's back in that lineup. All of a sudden, you got a really, really, really good 1 through 9 for this club. By the way, 6 hits in, 6 games with a homer for Muncy at AAA. The fact that he's still out there and playing and is able to go out and get some work at 1B on Sunday, it means that apparently this chiropractor visit worked its magic or whatever, because we didn't get him shut down. I'll still want to see a few games out of him at the big league level before I'm really like, okay, this guy's all the way back and something's not just going to pop on him. But you get him back, and oh, by the way, you also get one of your other, we'll call him a prized trade deadline acquisitions in Tommy Edman joining this team, who can play everywhere. Who are you more excited to see? Tommy Edman donning Dodger blue for the first time, or Max Muncy back where he belongs?
Max Muncy. To me, Tommy Edman, you haven't played all year, so I have no idea what he's bringing to the table. I know obviously he was good when he was healthy, but again, he's supposed to make his season debut today. He's likely going to see the bulk of time in center field, so the outfield is going to have a different look to it. I mean, they acquired him from St. Louis, coming off that offseason wrist surgery, an ankle injury further delayed his return. So there's a lot of broken things coming with him. Hopefully, everything is healthy, because he's a Gold Glover. Especially at second base. In 2021, he won the Gold Glove there. He batted 248, 307, 399, 27 steals in 137 games last season for the Cards. He was all over the place too. He's another solid guy that brings 7-8 gloves to the field, because he can play a lot of positions, but he'll likely see the majority of time in center field. It's going to be interesting though, Clint, to see how Dave balances the playing time with Edman in the fold and Max Muncy returning, because since his return from the IL, Betts has been in right field, obviously, and Gavin has been entrenched at second base. So again, it's great. There's always a balance in this sport, right? It's great to get guys healthy, and we're finally starting to see, is this the look of the Dodgers that we were hoping for? But at the same time, it's where do you put them all? And does Kevin Kiermaier have to have his bags packed? What do you think that means for this roster?
Yeah, there are some really tough conversations coming up for Dave Roberts in this front office. One of them maybe a little bit easier with Nick Ahmed. I think he's one of the first odd men out. But then again, I was way off about Ahmed Rosario last week.
Everybody was. That's not just you.
Yeah, that's why. By the way, enjoy your time with the Cincy Reds, Rosario. With Kiermaier, I think he's one of those guys. I thought it was one of those pieces they kind of picked up to be able to get Ryan Yarbrough off the roster. I think Ryan Yarbrough's time in Dodger Blue kind of ran its course as some of the other pitchers were coming back. But I think they really like Kevin Kiermaier. They're putting some work in with the bat. But the important thing with him, of course, is that platinum glove in center field. He is an elite defender, and I think this organization has put such an emphasis on defense that he's somebody that maybe his bags stay perfectly there in his locker room, and all of a sudden, or in his locker, and all of a sudden, Jason Hayward might have to be looking for a phantom IL stint or something like that. That's where I'm kind of at, because even Kiermaier right now finding a little bit of something with the bat. I think he's hitting 333 over his last 6 for his last 18 over his last 5 games. He's got a little pop in there with a homer and a double. But if you're able to have that glove in the outfield, I wonder if that's more important to this team. But hey, there's also a Chris Taylor factor at some point. So all of these roster moves and pieces that need to kind of go around. Again, not a very fun conversation, but I think Kiermaier lives for maybe a few more days until CT3's back. CT3, by the way, doing well on his rehab, 4 for 11 in 3 games so far at AAA. But how do you think Kiermaier's gone? How does this play out?
God, I don't know. I was so wrong on the Ahmed Rosario thing too. I don't know. I think I think Kiermaier is so good defensively, and I think that's such a key piece of winning in the postseason. I think postseason games, again, I know it's cliche, and I apologize, but it comes down to good pitching and defense, right? You can't out hit good pitching, and if you do by chance, a ball gets in the gap or whatever, I think Kiermaier is just so good defensively. I know that perhaps he's a late inning defensive substitution when it matters the most, but he's a true center fielder. I agree with Tien there. He's a true center fielder, and this is a guy that sometimes you have to sacrifice the bat at that particular position to be able to, save some runs against you. So, I see, again, I can see the phantom IL for Hayward only because I really believe in Hayward's leadership. But I mean, at a certain point, everybody gets the jersey taken away, right? At a certain point, you're on the back nine is Ned Colletti, who, by the way, is going to be on our show on Thursday. Ned Colletti's coming on the program to talk about this amazing All Dodgers art book that he's involved with. But anyway, he used to say that, it's that he's on the back nine of his career. And, I'm not sure. I don't know what you do with CT. Obviously, I don't see the Dodgers DFAing him, obviously, because of the amount of, although, he has a massive contract. And then you have to look at, there's only a month and a half left in the season. Maybe somebody else picks him up. I don't know. I don't want to make that decision. I don't have to. But
one name we didn't mention.
I could see Nick Ahmed going out.
Yeah, one name we didn't mention.
Joe Kelly being DFA'd.
Who?
Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly? Oh, you're preaching. Now you're preaching right now, because I think that this team found something else. I was going to say Andy Pajes is one of those guys, should be looking for his locker to be cleaned out a little bit, go back down to AAA to open up a roster spot, but they still need to create 40-man roster spot. But let's talk Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly, I don't know how you make a career out of making a pouty face, but he has done that like with style and aplomb as a Los Angeles Dodger. But this bullpen very quickly is running out of room. I'll say it again for the people that missed it. I was dead wrong on Michael Kopech, who maybe could possibly potentially be lining up to be this Dodgers closer by the end of the season. Kopech has been very, very good. And that's an understatement since joining this team. 9 1/3 innings, scoreless, 1 hit, 1 walk, 13 Ks. I think he struck out 13 of 30 batters. He's looked very good. And Dave Roberts said they're not quite ready to anoint him the closer yet, but he's certainly making a strong case for that. So, Alanna, you have had some worries about that closer for quite some time. Is Kopech, are you okay with Kopech being that guy, or do you need to see more out of him?
I mean, I'd like to see more, but here's what I will say, and we discussed this on our production call earlier today. Whoever the hell the closer is going to be, you better get him ready right now, because I feel like if there's too many closers, you don't have a closer. I know, obviously, that Evan Phillips, could be the guy. Daniel Hudson, they get high leverage spots, but the point is, you also got Blake Treinen coming back. If Kopech is going to be the dude, and if that's why you acquired him at the deadline, then let's get him ready right now. I know the lead in the division, I think, is only 3 games right now, but let's get him in the position to know that in the 9th inning, that phone's going to ring and Barto's going to pick it up and Michael Kopech is going in the game. I mean, this is what he's done so far. You mentioned it a little bit, Clint, but he has retired 28 of the 30 batters he's faced. 13 of those have come via the strikeout since joining the Dodgers. In his 3rd appearance in the last 4 days, his fastball was down 97, but Dave Roberts believes it's just fatigue, maybe a little bit of overwork there, which is fine. I can understand that. He's just gassed. Daniel Hudson, Evan Phillips could pick up some high leverage spots on Monday and Tuesday to give Kopech a blow, as far as maybe he's not available in today's game against the Mariners to start that series. But again, if this is going to be your guy, then let's go. I mean, here we are on August 19th. I mean, the playoffs start in a month and change. Get them ready to have that mindset of the last 3 outs of the game are the hardest to get, and you are the guy. And then you can have Treinen, who obviously has closer experience, get him set in the 8th inning, start building up from the 9th inning and move backwards. And I know that this whole thing of guys don't have roles. I really believe the bullpen, especially the back end of the bullpen, the back end of the game, they need roles. I'm sorry, but the 6th inning is very different than the 9th inning. So put them where they need to be right now.
But you're looking at this. If you do have Kopech and he continues at this pace, and you're welcoming back Blake Treinen, who was phenomenal for a good stretch of the season, kind of fell on some hard times. Evan Phillips is finding it again. He hasn't allowed an earned run in the month of August. I think he has 11 Ks, 1 walk in the month of August. So he's been very, very good. Dan Hudson has saved a lot of games for this club while Phillips was kind of a little bit off. We know Vesia's there. Anthony Banda has been great. I don't know where, going back to Joe Kelly, I don't know where Joe Kelly fits into this bullpen mix. And then you also need to have a long guy. Ryan Brazier's back in the mix. There's a lot of concerns, questions. I would say less so concerns. There are questions. How does this roster shake out? Who's not making the postseason, 26-man or 13-man pitching staff? But that said, I would rather have this many tough questions than what we've seen in the past, where there's all right, well, we're going to hope and pray that Dustin May comes back off the IL, and Blake Treinen comes back off the IL, and all these things kind of. You cross your fingers and hope they line up a certain way. They are in a much better spot than they've been in years past. Knock on desk, no more injuries. But if they go with a full-time closer, and that's Kopech, cool. If they find the best lanes to throw these guys against a run of hitters, which they love to do, that's cool. However they feel is the best way to maximize all 13 pitchers in a short series, in a long series, and in a World Series, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we had Ron Darling on High Heat today. And by the way, happy 64th birthday to Ron Darling. And he was talking about back in the day, there was only one team out of 30 that didn't hate their closer, and that was the Yankees with Mariano Rivera. Every single team is like just their closer gives them such agita, to use an Italian phrase. Here's what I want, though. Whoever the closer is going to be, I don't want it to be against left-handed or right-handed splits. I don't care. You have to go out there and you have to face everybody, and you have to throw strikes and you have to shove it down their throat. Like, get that mentality starting now. I don't want the mix and the match. And I understand, sabermetrics and analytics play such a huge deal, but I want someone to be that, a lack of a better nickname, I want someone to be that bulldog in the ninth inning, for this club. And hopefully they have to be used a lot. Hopefully there's a massive amount of save opportunities for the Dodgers, especially in the postseason.
Or they just put up 15 runs. You don't have to worry about it. People get 27 outs. We go home. We're happy.
Well, sure, but that's, so unrealistic in the postseason. But yeah, sure. A couple of laughers would be fine, but I just don't see that happening for 11 wins.
So I got a laugher for you here. We got a super chat from our friend Richard Flores. Richie in Devore coming in. He says, why don't we get Kike's eye doctor, Gavin's uncle, and Mad Max chiropractor? Get them all in the same Airbnb. Spend a weekend with Walker Buehler and Bobby Miller. Get them right. We don't need to talk too much about Walker and Bobby. That's a whole other show. But maybe the boys need to be fixed a little bit. They might need a little bit of help.
They do. Walker, I think, is I don't know that Walker's going to be where we want him to be ever, coming off of 2 surgeries. I don't know. Bobby Miller, I've said this 1,000 times. The kid's got good stuff. I just don't think he's ready. I think, you bring him up too quick. He's put in situations that he's just not, he doesn't have the back of the baseball card yet for that. Not enough black types for these types of things. I understand it's a long season. You need all 40 men. It's definitely never a 26-man roster. It's not even a 40-man roster. But the point is, it's like to get out of this first round, you need a massive, 3-headed monster starting rotation. And by the way, not for nothing, that's what the Seattle Mariners have, who is the opponent tonight for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll get into that in just a second in JT's return. Let's get into Last Licks.
Let's do it.
All right, Last Licks brought to you by Guidry's Guardian Foundation. Full disclosure, that is my nonprofit. Beverly and Amy need homes, guys. These are beautiful 3-month-old puppies. They're American Bulldog and German Shepherd mixes. They are 2 of the 7 puppies that were born to Boogie, who was a stray that was dumped in the middle of the night in South LA on a lawn. She was pregnant. She gave birth 3 months ago to 7 beautiful puppies. All 7 and Mama Boogie need a home, but Beverly and Amy have recently moved into a different foster home. If you're interested in adopting these sweet babies, visit Guidry'sGuardian.org or certainly hit me up on social media. Justin Turner has been a big supporter of Guidry's Guardian Foundation. He and his wife, Courtney Turner, they have a rescue dog themselves. They will be back at Dodger Stadium as new parents. And Justin Turner, I don't know if Courtney's here, I would imagine, but Justin's back for the first time in a different uniform. And this is a kid that I have a grand fondness for. But Clint Pasillas, they better give him a standing O.
There's not a chance in the world that the stadium is not on its feet for a very, very long stretch of time for Justin Turner's return to Dodger Stadium. They've met a couple of times, of course, in Boston, in Toronto earlier this year, but he gets to come home where he belongs, at least for 3 games, and that's going to be fun. I wanted to ask you, though, because we have this opportunity. You covered him for a long time. I know you guys are very tight, very good friends. The families are very good friends. What's your best Justin Turner story that maybe people might not know?
I wish I would have sent you the picture now that I'm thinking about it. So December of 2022, my husband, Chris, and I were in Maui taking our wedding photos. We got married in November of 22, but we were in Maui taking the photos, and I'm with a group of friends sitting at a restaurant, and I look up and Justin Turner is there. And our friend Ken Gurnick, who was a Dodger beat writer for a billion years with MLB.com, does phenomenal work. He was there also with us and his wife, and Gurnick goes, "Turner." And Justin looks and he's like, like when you know somebody, but they're not where you're used to seeing them, like you're kind of confused. So Justin looks at Kenny and he was just like, what the heck? And then he looks at me and he's like, why are Alanna and Ken Gurnick and Cheryl and all these people in Maui, right? So then I get up and I'm in a wedding dress. So he's like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, so Courtney was there. They were there because Chris Taylor was getting married like the next day in Oahu. So there was a ton of Dodger players. So the Seagers were in town. Obviously the Turners were in town. Some other guys on the team that Justin played with. They were all in Maui to go see CT get married in Oahu. So it was just a weird thing. So like we got up and took a picture, and then Justin accidentally blew the surprise that I was going to be taking my husband for his 40th to London, because Courtney and Justin had just gone to London. So Justin was like, "Oh, I meant to tell you all these places." I was like, "Shh, he's right here." So then Chris found out we were going to London, and there you have it. But Justin Turner and I basically started with the Dodgers on the same day in February of 2014. He was a non-roster invitee. Thank you, Ned Colletti, for giving him a chance. And that was my first year as the Dodgers sideline reporter. So now he's a dad. He's going to be 40. I hope to God to see him as a manager someday.
A hell of a move for Ned Colletti that day. Hell of a signing for Lon Rosen that day with the both of you guys. And again, as a Dodger fan, we appreciate everything you guys did for this organization. You're not coming home today for your standing O. So Dodgers fans, make sure you give JT the standing O that he deserves. Elisheva Jones saying he's definitely going to be getting that ovation. And umpires, don't F it up. There's no pitch clock infraction. Give him his time. This is a man that deserves it. And we'll do it again. He's a man. He's 40.
He's not a man yet. Not a man yet. He's almost 40. Almost 40. All right. What's coming up on all Dodgers with Clint Pasillas?
Tonight, I'll be back. I've got an hour to talk more Dodgers with people. We got our voicemail hotline will be fresh off the presses, or however that works. I don't know, but I'll be talking about your Los Angeles Dodgers. I got some more thoughts about Glasnow, more thoughts about where we're at with Yamamoto, and a whole bunch of stuff, and whatever else goes on. Of course, we'll be talking about the roster moves that go down between now and game time. So 6 p.m. Pacific time, live on my channel, All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. That is this guy. Tube in, subscribe, all those things help.
Yeah. What do you know about hot off the presses? You've been digital your whole life. All right. Check in with what Clint is doing on All Dodgers. Like him, subscribe to him, rate him 5 stars. Same thing for us here on Dodgers territory. Thanks so much for being with us. We are back with you live on Thursday afternoon at 12 p.m. Pacific. See you later. Go Dodgers.
Bye.